Good afternoon. I'm Jurnee Taylor. We want to head straight over to the weather department with meteorologist Nathan Scott. After a stormy night across Arkansas, how are things looking today, Nathan?
Good afternoon, Jurnee. We had that tornado watch that lasted until 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'm happy to report there were no tornadoes in the state of Arkansas. There was some wind damage and also some flash flooding reports. I'll show you that in just 1 second. First of all, the radar is pretty quiet. There's still a chance there could be a spotty shower, maybe a storm out there through the course of the afternoon. The best chance of that happening will be into East Arkansas. Here are the storm reports, and you can see them clustered pretty much into Northeast Arkansas. There are some hail reports into White County, also Cleburne County, and flash flooding reports into Independence County and also Jackson County, because we had a band of heavy rain just set up shop across that part of the state early this morning that produced as much as 3 to maybe as much as 5 inches of rain. Temperatures wide range right now. We're into the upper 80s, close to 90 in some locations where there's been more sun. Meanwhile, Northeast Arkansas with lots more clouds, temperatures are still into the upper 70s. Highs today, most locations warming up into the upper 80s to lower 90s, but Northeast Arkansas, they're going to stay on the cool side with highs only into the low 80s. Another round of showers and storms are expected to begin your Friday. I'll have more details on that coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Our top story this afternoon, deadly wildfires in Hawaii. Officials say fires have burnt more than 270 structures and killed at least 36 people in Maui. Jonathan Vigliotti has the latest.
Terrifying images out of a Maui neighborhood. Home after home swallowed by fast-moving flames Tuesday night as residents scrambled to escape.
Somebody's down right here. Somebody's down right here. Somebody's down.
On Maui's western shore, this was Lahaina's historic Front Street business district before the wildfires.
Oh my gosh, look at the harbor.
And this was the devastation left behind Wednesday morning. Alan Dakar went to check on his gallery and was stunned to find the business district up in flames.
And then realized needed to leave because that fire was raging out of control. Grabbed some people who didn't have a way out. Told them get their stuff, get in my truck, and we headed out.
We're on a boat headed to Lahaina. This is one of the few ways to access the town. And what's incredible from this vantage point is the scale of destruction. We're talking miles of coastline completely burned.
What we found there was utter devastation. Homes reduced to cinders, a way of life forever altered. A distant hurricane brought wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour. Fueling several large wildfires so quickly, the Coast Guard says it rescued 14 people, including 2 young children who were forced to jump in the ocean to escape the flames.
We've been pulling people out since last night, trying to save people's lives.
Despite promised help from both federal and state agencies, Maui's relative isolation could slow the island's recovery.
There are thousands of people who are under mandatory evacuations, including thousands of stranded tourists. All of this, meanwhile, as a very active search and rescue effort continues here on the island of Maui. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Maui.
Well, this afternoon, several people remain missing. Search and rescue efforts are ongoing. Maui's governor issued an emergency notice discouraging all non-essential traveling. Back here in Arkansas, we're still waiting to learn the identity of the body found in Hot Springs yesterday afternoon. Human remains as well as several belongings were found in a wooded area near MacLeod Street and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Expressway. Police tell us they will not be releasing the person's identity until the state crime lab confirms it through DNA. State police now investigating a 911 call that turned deadly in Northeast Arkansas. Here's what we know this afternoon. Investigators tell us Osceola police were responding to a call at the home of 33-year-old Kevion Jones Wednesday morning. According to police, Jones allegedly pointed a gun at a convenience store worker. When they arrived, officers say Jones came out of the house, pointed a gun at them, leading them to fire their weapons, killing him. No other injuries were reported. State police are now investigating whether the use of deadly force was consistent with Arkansas law. You can stay with THV11 and THV11.com for the latest on this developing story. Polk County Sheriff's deputies make a drug bust that could save many lives, seizing over 400 fentanyl pills. The bust happened after a deputy pulled over someone for reckless driving near the North Arkansas exit. According to the deputy, The driver appeared to be under the influence, leading them to search the vehicle. That's when they found the hundreds of pills. The driver has been charged with possession of fentanyl, reckless driving, DWI, and felony fleeing. And continuing with the opioid epidemic, North Little Rock Police is establishing an overdose response team. This comes after the department received more than $300,000 from the Arkansas Opioid Recovery Partnership. Their goal is to help overdose victims and their families engage with the community and hold distributors accountable. The new team will consist of an investigator, a mental health professional, and a peer recovery specialist. Nationally, authorities are still investigating what led to a fatal shooting between FBI agents and a Utah man. 74-year-old Craig Robertson who was being served an arrest warrant, was accused of making threats against a number of politicians, including President Biden. Skylar Henry has more details.
Just hours before President Biden landed in Utah Wednesday, the FBI was trying to serve an arrest warrant to a man living in Provo who was accused of making threats against the president's life.
There was a lot of shouting, and then they let off some flashbangs to basically wake him up and make sure they heard him, and they were like yelling out his name and telling him to get out.
Neighbor John Michael Asola watched the deadly encounter unfold.
Some medical professionals looked at him for like a couple minutes, but pretty soon it was clear he was gone.
Authorities say Craig Robertson had been making threats against President Biden. Court documents show Robertson posted on social media Monday that he was cleaning the dust off the M24 sniper rifle and was looking forward to the death of Joe Biden. Robertson wrote on Facebook last September that the time was right for a presidential assassination or two. The self-described MAGA Trumper also appeared to be upset at the federal investigations into former President Trump. The FBI had been investigating Robertson for 5 months after he also allegedly made threats against Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, as well as more than 24 threats against Vice President Kamala Harris.
In terms of extreme, this is about as extreme as you can get.
Robertson showed off his weapons in some social media posts, but neighbors say the 74-year-old couldn't have carried out the threats, noting he needed a cane to walk. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Dozens of UAMS employees are out of a job this week after the state's only academic medical center announces it's eliminating positions. In an effort to save money, they announced the removal of 51 positions. In a statement to THV11, UAMS said, in part, we are not immune to the effects of inflation, which has been hitting us for a while. As the state's only academic medical center, we take our obligation to the people of Arkansas very seriously. Therefore, we must continue to look at ways to remain efficient, end quote. Now, they also added they are working with employees to help them find other positions at UAMS or other hospitals. In other news, Dollar General is getting closer to opening full-on grocery stores in Central Arkansas. Yesterday, the company's CEO met with the governor and local leaders to discuss the new distribution center being built in North Little Rock. The facility will stock nearby Dollar Generals with fresh ingredients and produce. The CEO admits the stores aren't true groceries, but Mayor Frank Scott Jr. says they play a critical role in many communities.
We have to have more fresh produce in 12th Street, in the South End, in the East End, where that may be the only opportunity, because a Kroger may not locate there, a Walmart may not locate there, but that means that just because they won't locate there doesn't mean that a child or a family should be deprived of groceries.
The new facility is worth $140 million and is expected to bring 300 jobs to the workforce. It's scheduled to be finished next summer. And a new study highlighting big growth in Conway. Data shows the city has become the second largest city in the region behind Little Rock. THV11's Ashley Godwin finds out why the people of Conway say it's growing so much.
I personally have really seen a lot of growth in Conway. When I moved here in 2017, it was a few small businesses here and there.
And last year, Shelby Blacksmith and her husband decided to add their own business to the list. Gibson's Cat Cafe has since moved to a new location off Dave Ward.
At our old location, we really loved it and we loved the businesses around us, but we had a consistent flooding problem.
Even through those issues, Shelby knew they wanted to stay in Conway.
We have been told countless times that people find this as their safe space, so we knew that we had to find a new location.
But there's something special going on right here.
After the latest census, the city of Conway passed North Little Rock in population growth, making it the second largest city in central Arkansas. Spokesperson Bobby Kelly says there's many things contributing to the recent growth.
But there's always this healthy degree of competition that we've got.
Along with expanding parks, encouraging public safety, and several schooling options. Recently, the city has become the center of West Rock Coffee's supply chain, adding more jobs. Conway also investing $25 million into 15 miles of trails connecting the city. And last year, voters approved a tax continuance to go towards the creation of a new community center and soccer complex.
We've got a lot of I wouldn't say like-minded folks, but folks who all understand the goal and the vision, and that's to create a great place to live.
Like Shelby at the Cat Cafe, who hopes to continue help grow the community.
We love Conway so much, and we are just so in love with the students and the non-students around here, so we really wanted this to be the original Gibson's.
Now, the city of Conway tells me the soccer complex is set to open next year in the fall. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Well, the first leg of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is officially in the books, but it could be in the record books before it's all over. How the pop star is singing and dancing her way into history at 12:18. Nathan?
And we're starting to see some breaks in the cloud cover here in downtown Little Rock. It's going to be a hot day for parts of the area, but everybody's going to be heating up as we go into the 7-day forecast, which is coming up next.